The Sicilian Defense is one of the best opening against 1e4. It's very good for beginners as it follows all the opening principles, but everyone can play it up to the very top level. Even Magnus Carlsen is playing it. In this video, I will show you first how to develop all your pieces with the Sicilian and the core ideas of this opening, and then we will test it with real actual games. And guys, you will be surprised by how little white is prepared against this opening. Let's go. e4, c5. In every opening, it's very important to control the center, and the Sicilian is doing that by controlling the d4 square. So we are avoiding white from placing two pawns in the middle of the board. White usually plays the move knight f3 because they want to play the move d4 at move 3. Now, with black, we have three main options. There are many more moves, but usually black is playing e6, d6, or knight c6. I suggest you to start with the move d6 because it's the most flexible of all of them. d4, and now we see the idea of the Sicilian. We are trading a side pawn for a central pawn. White here should take back with the knight. If not, if they take back with the queen, you're very happy to develop a piece and win a tempo by attacking the queen. Let's say that they took back with the knight. And now, how do we develop all our pieces? Let's start with the knight that has a very simple development attacking the pawn. Usually white is responding with the knight. Now, we will keep going with the move e6. And already we can see how we finish the development of the king side by playing bishop e7 and short castle. This is simple. How do we do about the queen side? Let's see a few more moves, and let's see also how white can develop their pieces. For white, we have basically two main options. White can develop their pieces to castle short or to castle long. Let's start with the short castle because it's the most typical one, and 90% of players will play this in your games. So let's say they develop this bishop, you develop your bishop, ready to castle, they develop also this bishop, ready to castle, and you both castle short. Perfect. Now, how are you going to finish your development? There are a few ways. Way number one is to just place your knight on c6. If the knight is taking, you take with the b pawn, and you are almost ready to play your main idea in the Sicilian, that is to play the move d5. If you can play the move d5 and trade another central pawn for another central pawn, you will be the only one to have a pawn in the center of the board, meaning that you have probably a very good position. So option number one is to develop the pieces, the remaining pieces with knight c6, bishop d7, rook c8. Usually the queen can go on c7. You always need to look for knight b5. So if the queen isn't on c7, knight b5 would be attacking the queen. This could be dangerous. That's why it's very typical to play first the move a6 before moving the queen on c7. This is option number one. Knight c6, bishop d7, rook c8, a6, queen c7. Option number two is to play knight d7. The knight is going to control those squares. And then to play a6, b5, bishop b7, fianchetto, rook c8, queen c7. No matter what setup you prefer, the goal is always to try to play the move d5. You want to be able to place the pawn here, and after all the trades, you want to keep this pawn here. So you want to be able to capture with the pieces. So after bing, the pawn takes. For example, let's try to play this move here. Now the problem in this position is that white can push the pawn. But let's say if they are forced to take, this is quite good already for you, because after knight takes, this, you take back, and you have traded the central pawn. From a tactical point of view, you have a problem because you haven't finished the development of your pieces. So now there is a very strong move that is knight b5, threatening knight c7. This is a very good example that it was too early to play the move d5. But if you have completed your development, if those pieces are developed, d5 is the move you have to always look for, okay? What if your opponent is going for long castle? Let's go here. If they want to go for long castle, they will play queen d2 followed by long castle. If you have the chance to play the move knight g5, trading this bishop, you always do it. That's why actually, if white is very prepared, they play the move f3 here to block you from trading their bishop, their strong bishop, for your knight. Okay, let's say they are very prepared, they play this, queen d2, and now you need to understand how to develop all your pieces and also to be ready that your opponent is going to castle long. Let's say you develop the knight here, which is a very standard move, and they go long castle. Now we have opposite side castling, and this means war. It means that you have to start to attack your opponent here on the queen side. And to do that, you need to attack them with pieces and with pawns. A very typical way is to play the move a6, followed by b5, b4. Attention, if you play the move b5, this knight is unprotected. That's why usually black is first trading this knight, and then playing b5, b4, queen a5, bishop b7, rook c8, and you try to checkmate your opponent king. They will try to do the same if they know their plans, but hey, chess is a fight. Engine, according to the engines, these positions are very an equal fight. So black has definitely chances to attack. So you don't have to worry about the engines. They think the Sicilian is a very reliable and good opening. That's why Magnus is playing. But okay, this is the theory. What happens if you play the Sicilian in practice? Guys, enjoy. What? Queen h5? So queen h5 is a very tricky move that is played a lot against d4, e5, but against the Sicilian. They're attacking this pawn and they're looking here. But if I play e6, I'm already protecting this pawn and already blocking the idea of bishop c4. Wow. They still want to somehow avoid the knight there. So I will play, just develop my pieces, right? Knight c6, I'm somehow attacking this pawn. And I think I will go for the move d5. This is a very typical move in the Sicilian. If you can play the move d5, it means that you are going for the center. My opponent is just playing for tricks. They want to give checkmate, but I can play the move g6, ready to fianchetto, and I think they might just lose a piece here. Where is the queen going? To keep this knight protected. I can already win a pawn here, and I do that. Hell yeah. Attacking the queen one more time, and now I develop a bishop. I'm torturing that queen a little bit. And if this knight now moves back, I am winning a queen in 8 moves. That's why also with the Sicilian defense, the move queen h5 is tricky, but not good. Let's see what white is playing. I think knight back could have been a very natural move. I will force the knight. Go there. Go back. I will force it. Just do that. Yes! And now, discovery check. We are giving a check to the king, winning the queen. And of course, knight h3 would have been the best move. In order to win this position, we need to complete the development. I was so tempted to give this check, but it's actually a bad move. I need to develop my knight and castle, because after check, the bishop is covering. I have to move the queen one more time. I will rather go here with the queen. Why? Because after castle, boom, I have another discovery check. Plus, okay. Well, if I castle, this pawn is hanging, but then also this pawn is hanging. So it's an interesting trade. I don't know, I didn't play super precise, probably. Now I have to move my rook. Because, I don't know, this knight is unprotected. So if the knight is moved, I have to move my knight. The queen is a bit shaky there. And my bishop is not playing at all, blocked by all the pawns. So we need to somehow turn the table here. My pieces right now are not in good shapes. One move could be to play knight g4. I'm attacking the bishop, and then I will play the move e5. And this is actually such a successful idea, because in 2 moves, I'm activating all the pieces. Let's go. Knight there, followed by e5. The rook is suddenly getting an open file. The bishop is getting an open diagonal, and the queen is coming back to the game if the pawns, if many pieces are traded. I can, and at the end, take back with the queen. The queen is coming back at the middle of the board. So that's kind of... Oh, wait. If I take, knight takes... I'm losing material like this. Okay, never mind. That pawn is actually very weak there. And this move was super helpful for me. I can just not take back the pawn, develop my bishop, and I should be fine. I just need to make sure that my knight has a way to come back. Okay, I will play this. My knight doesn't have a way to come back, but if h3 is played, I will just sacrifice. I will lose an exchange, but the position is getting much simpler for me. My pieces are much more active. So can you visualize this? h3, knight takes, bishop takes or knight takes is the same. We take with the rook, they take back, and we take with the queen. Oh, you're not doing that? I will play bishop here attacking the queen. Sorry, the rook. There is a bishop now that is hanging, but trades are good for me. And now I take here. So I didn't want to take here immediately because the knight can take there, and then my king is a bit weak. Maybe it's not really weak because white cannot exploit it, but okay, I prefer this version. Now all my pieces are very strong. We take back, let's take what just with the rook, so we keep this bishop protected. We are attacking this one, we are threatening this check, winning another piece, and I think now we are approaching the GG territory. Okay, great idea actually, but I think they lose a piece anyway. Okay, there is my bishop that is hanging. Okay, let's just move it here. G5 is now my threat, winning a knight. If not, I will just keep going with bringing the final rook to the party, push this pawn, which is passed just 3 steps away from promoting. And this is winning on for many reasons. Let's go. G5 also could have been very good, but now I want to sneak my rook on a first rank. I could have sacrificed the queen maybe even, but it's not really necessary, so... Wait, is necessary or necessary? Necessary or necessary? Help me. Thank you. So after rook takes, I take back. Bishop e2. This is a free rook, guys. Because the rook cannot take a spin. If the rook is taking here, we take back with the queen. Okay, the pawn is pushing, makes sense. We take also here. Alright, this is now checkmate in 2 or in 1. Nice. So, quick analysis. In this position, actually, Engine prefers a different move to the one I played. I played d5, which leaves black in a slightly better position. Minus 0-3, still black is having the advantage. But g6 is the move that the engine prefers, and makes lots of sense because once the queen moves away, we are developing the bishop in fianchetto. We don't have any problem with a point on f7, and we're going to keep going with moves like knight out, castle, queen c7. This pawn will be attacked so many times. White did a terrible job developing their pieces. And we have the Smith-Morra Gambit. My opponent played so quickly this move. Usually the idea of the Sicilian is that you push the pawn in the center to avoid the move d4. Because after pawn takes, they shouldn't take back with the queen. Because we are just winning a tempo, attacking the queen has to move one more time. That's not really such a great idea. I will show you what is a very good development in the Sicilian. You put the 2 knights like this, and then you play the move e6. In this case, I will not play another typical move that is the move d6 because I have the opportunity to go all in and to try to play the move f5 in one tempo. I will play bishop here, developing another piece. I already have 3 pieces out, my opponent has just 1. Now this pawn is hanging because the knight is pinned, and if I can, my next move is going to be the move d5. Remember, in the Sicilian, if you can play the move d5, you already equalized, maybe you already have a better position. Now, this is very tricky, because I'm threatening to take here, pawn takes, check, I win the rook. But I'm also threatening on the other side, queen h4. That's a puzzle rush tactic. That's a check. If the pawn is covering, I could usually take with the knight. In this case, they did a very good job, actually. Because this queen is controlling, protecting the knight, protecting the g3 square, and attacking my knight. I will play the move d5. I'm protecting the knight, keeping all the threats, and maybe I will go one day with the queen here. Or, attention, knight d4 is also so strong. Yeah, this is now good because they stopped knight d4. They're playing really well. Then I will play queen a5. Not so easy to play for white here. I have almost developed all my pieces. There is this bishop that is still missing, and I haven't castled yet. But how is white going to develop, to move on their pieces? This knight shouldn't be moved. If not, I'm sneaking with the knight there, or I'm just taking here. This bishop, where are they going? If they go here, I think I might start to look for forks. If they go there, I'm taking. And the king needs to slide in the middle of the board. I'm pushing this pawn. This knight is lost. The king is in bad shape. They didn't have a move, almost. Which is not good. So now, I am going to win a piece, I guess. Right now, material is still equal, but this knight cannot be moved, and the pawn is attacking it. So there is one way to try to get out of this problem, and would be like to play the move a3. So I'm attacking one piece, they're attacking another piece. But this move doesn't work for millions of reasons. Because I'm taking here with check, first of all. So I could first take here, give a check. They have to protect it somehow, and then I can move my bishop back. But also after a3, they are not even threatening to take, because this rook behind is hanging. So I can take here, no problem. I don't even need to move my bishop back. Alright, you're moving the queen, attacking this pawn. And that's why here, I'm just castling. Because the threat is the same, is staying there. There was no change. So why should I lose a pawn, giving my opponent a chance to come back for a counterattack? No, I just solved my only little problem by castling, and I'm going on with my plan to win the knight. Pushing here, they are trying to organize a counterattack. I'm taking here with the check, opening up also this file for the rook, which I'm going to slide with the next move. Perfect. Now I would like to find a checkmate. Bim. Okay, we can choose queen or rook. I don't know. I think the queen deserves the win here. Boom. This is a reminder that in the Sicilian, as in any opening, you shouldn't go out with the queen too early. I think this opening is not convincing. So, Alapin. This is one possible variation, not the main line of the Sicilian. White has a clear idea in mind to go with the move d4, controlling the center. I have the possibility to play the move d5, and I will. And why can I play the move d5 now? Because after pawn takes, I'm going to take back with the queen. And what is the opening principle saying again? Do not go out with the queen too early. Why? Because the queen can be attacked by the knight, by the bishop, by all the by any of the white pieces, and you will have to move your queen again. But in this case, as the pawn is on c3, the knight can no longer go there, attacking the queen. So the queen is at the center of the board, but cannot be easily attacked. Ooh! Oh my god. So if in this position I could have gone with my queen out too early, f3 is not a good move, because f3 always makes your king much weaker. I don't know, I don't have a very clear way to exploit it, because if I play e5, I'm still not really threatening this check. but I should develop my pieces. I should go for the center. I might just go out with the knight, you know. It's completely fine. If pawn takes, I'm taking back with the queen. Then I might play the move e5 to control the center even more. Or I might push the pawn on d4 to get some extra space. The problem of these two moves by white is that those are the squares where usually you want to develop your knights. Right now the knight cannot go out here, the knight cannot go out there. So the knights need to find some different squares, which are probably not optimal. I have a very fun idea. And it's to play e5. But wait, am I not winning a pawn here? So I'm taking here, pawn takes, I take here, pawn takes, and then this is hanging. Oh! 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 Alright. Interesting. So this move probably wants to be played. This is now a bit complicated. I have a check here, which would be a fork, but knight c3 is defending the bishop, and I have to be careful because they want to play the move d5. But I have an extra pawn. This was a good move, actually. That was a great move. I will play queen b6. The idea is that I'm attacking this bishop, and if the bishop is taking knight, I take with the queen and... Opa, I'm protecting the pawn. So I might be able to keep my extra pawn. Now d5 is a way to try to force me to move the queen one more time, but I can move my queen here, and I'm attacking this pawn plus defending this one. So trading was very bad. Usually that's a good point. Avoid trades. I know that it's very tempting to simplify the position, but in this case, giving away the bishop for a knight was a bad idea. Much better would have been to, their queen here, just defend your bishop by developing a new piece. Now here, the free cheese macaroni was on c1, so no, the king might have to move. Not good. In order to win this position, we need absolutely to play with all the pieces. There is one temptation that is so strong. Oh my gosh, let's play the queen one more time. Let's try to take another pawn. Let's try to go on. But we need to bring those pieces. Now there is a very concrete reason why I play this move, and it's tactically. After queen takes, I'm taking here, check, and I'm winning the rook. Now, if you can win a rook, you can move the queen again, okay? But in order to give mate, checkmate, I need to bring out this knight, push this pawn, we take the rook, castle, bring all the pieces, and then I'm going to give checkmate. There is a free pawn. But you know what? I don't care about pawn. This pawn, I don't care. I need to bring the pieces out. Let's play e6. That's important. Let's play bishop here. I'm attacking this knight. Any trade is very good for me. So I'm just gonna trade here. The queen is going to take, and I'm going to castle. My king is safe. Great. Now the queen is attacked. Oh! I'm so sorry. I wanted to say that it's attacked by... Oh, man. Okay. So, whatever. I still have two rooks and the bishop for a queen. It's actually not that bad. So sometimes, you know, I want to say that you always need to make sure that the queen has a way to come back. If not, you could lose the queen. But you can also be stupid. No, you could just mouse slip and... Okay, we have to bring the rooks to the game. We have to bring the bishop to the game. I actually am still up material. I'm attacking the queen now. If I can activate my pieces, which right now are not active at all because they are not attacking, the rook is not really doing anything active, right? Not attacking the opponent. Not really doing much. I will start to activate my bishop because now my bishop is attacking a pawn. The pawn is protected, so it's not a big deal, but I'm starting to improve my position. I was looking at this tactic. Okay, I will do something dirty. This is a trick. Is not a good move. But you know what? Sometimes it's fun to make them. And anyway, let me tell you something about this. This is a trick and not an aggressive good move, because there is a very important difference. A trick is a move that if your opponent plays the best move, honestly, this move is a waste of time. The difference between a good aggressive move is that if your opponent is taking, there is a trap, but even if they do any other move, it's usually a useful move. In this case, it was a gray zone, but yeah, we won the game. So, quick analysis, the big blunder of this game is to, of course, blunder the piece, but attention, because losing the queen is just an inaccuracy, okay? Next game. So let's see what happens when we play the Sicilian against the player 1800 Elo, which should already have some experience. I thought they would play the move d4. Maybe they will play it later on. Okay, we'll go with the knight out. Usually this knight is going there. We are taking, and you're taking back. Okay, we will play a very normal Sicilian. We are in a sort of Taimanov. This is the name of this variation of the Sicilian. Anyway, here we want to know the general plans. I'm going to go with this bishop out on b4. I really like this way of developing because it allows me to win a pawn in 7 moves. I'm now going to take here and snap this pawn, and this is just good because my next move is going to be d5, which is the critical move in the Sicilian. I took back towards the center. This is very important. d5 is going to be my next move, or maybe not. I'm gonna take also this pawn. I hope I'm not being too greedy, but it looks great because there is no way to attack my... I will go back with the knight. There we go. And then the knight is... Okay, let's play the move d6. I need to block this bishop. If not, it's a bit annoying. And then I'm going to play just knight f6 and short castle. I have 2 extra pawns. All my pieces are soon to be developed, not yet developed. All right, so we castle. There we go. And now probably bishop there will be played, trying to use the 2 strong bishops. But I have just a massive center, 2 extra pawns, and I'm going to use it to block those bishops. Develop the final piece and then start to look for traits. I can maybe think about the move e4 or think about the move d5. All right, this is an interesting move because if I remove this pawn, this one will be hanging, but I think I can take here. After bishop takes, I can take this bishop, but this one will be free. But then I can play queen here. Yeah, but I don't like this. That's a smart idea for them. Okay, but what if I play h6? I'm just asking a question to this queen. The only way to keep the idea is to maintain the queen on this diagonal. Great, but now maybe this move just works. I'm attacking this pawn, and after the this bishop, and after the bishop moves, oh, the bishop can just take. Ah, the bishop can just take. Okay, I just have 1 extra pawn now, and this is starting to be much less convincing because they have compensation. These 2 bishops are monsters. I like it quite a bit less. Quite a bit less, and I can't move this knight. Well, okay, I can move my knight here. It's risky. If I can trade the queens, I will. I will go for the endgame. Okay, the queen is attacking the knight and threatening mate. I'll offer a trade of queens. Let's go. Trade of queens would be amazing for me, because then all my problems are almost solved. I can enjoy an endgame with an extra pawn and try to play for a win. But if they don't trade, I'm going to attack them. The knight is coming to f5, the bishop is coming to h3. Suddenly I'm playing for the attack. And I think we are going to see that. Boom. Threatening checkmate. Okay, we are going to trade here. And now we have this sort of position where there are opposite color bishop in a middle game where there are still the queens and the rooks. And this means that this is still going to be a huge fight, because endgames with opposite color bishops are usually kind of drawish. It's hard to pull through, but middle games are fire. For real, because I can basically attack my opponent with an extra piece, and they can attack me with an extra piece. They can attack me on all the dark squares, and I have no way to defend them with this bishop. So it starts to be really important to attack. Now this move is basically forced, and I think at some point I will play the move f6. I'm going to weaken all my light squares, but who cares? My light squares are fine. My bishop is going to protect them at any point, and there is no way to exploit it. So this frees up the way for my queen or my rook, or both of them, to join the party. Now it's already very tough, because if rook there, I'm going to give this check, and I don't see a way to stop this infiltration otherwise. Those pieces are way too passive, not really attacking anything. Check. Boom. This is what you call a GG. We won a piece. And it was not perfect, but was a good game. Quick analysis. Here is very interesting that if I take with towards the center, but this is considered a small mistake, probably because there is the move queen d4. And if I want to protect this pawn by going back with the knight, there is bishop a3, and now I can no longer castle. And in the game, after bishop a3, I played the move d6 to block the diagonal of this bishop, but here the pawn is just hanging. So this is really a bit annoying. That's why much better to take with this pawn, offering the trade of queens. Anyway, I have already an extra pawn. This pawn is weak, so trading the queens is a very good deal. And this would have been the way to play this. Here, of course, pushing this pawn was a mistake, because the pawn is just hanging. Much better to play a bit slower, like rook b8, maybe rook e8. At some point, maybe also d5, if I don't hang that pawn. And yeah, playing a bit slowly, developing, bringing the rooks, developing this bishop. And black is much better, is quite better. There is some compensation due to the bishop pair, but black is better. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to have an opening for the white pieces, this video will show you one opening that made me win so many games. I use it to get up to 1800 elo in classical chess. I love this opening. You will love it too, I promise. Check it out. Here, there, go, ciao.